Coming up on this episode of Watch Culture, we're going to be discussing Blade Runner 2049, the sequel follow-up to the original Blade Runner, obviously, directed by Denis Villeneuve. And it's going to be a good one because this movie is amazing, so check it out. Alright, we're back for another episode of Watch Culture, the show where we give you recommendations on movies you should watch. Today we're talking about Blade Runner 2049, the 2017 Denis Villeneuve movie, starring Ryan Gosling, featuring Dave Bautista, Robin Wright, Ana de Armas, Harrison Ford, also has Jared Leto as in the movie, and it features a host of other characters who are really amazing. It's just a really, really exciting movie. This movie is one of my favorites from 2017. I'm glad I'm finally getting to do a video review on it because I want to talk about the fact that it is just visually stunning as a movie. It is set obviously in the year 2049, and it follows the story of Kay, who is a Blade Runner, and he's actually on a path to uncover sort of a mystery regarding replicants that are having children, and he's trying to figure out if that's actually possible, how long the lifespan of these children are, because he's a replicant, and he has a burning question in his mind, whether he was born or whether he was created. So Robin Wright is his lieutenant, and she sends him on a mission to deal with some unsavory replicants like Dave Bautista, who has such a short role in the movie, but does such a great job as Sapper Moore in this sort of retired replicant who he wears like these small little spectacles. Anyway, it's a great opening scene, and it was actually originally intended for Deckard, for Harrison Ford's character in the original movie, but Ridley Scott didn't get to use that. As you know, Ridley Scott's Blade Runner has had tons of revisions, and Villeneuve even said this of this movie. It is a definitive cut, and it is based on the original cut of the movie as well as the final cut, director's cut that Ridley Scott released. So he kind of takes it from the inspiration from those two versions of the film. I think this is a really smart film. It doesn't really pander to its audience too much. It's a 2 hours and 46 minutes long, so it's really long, but it expects the audience to sort of follow along the story, engage with it, pay attention to details, and sort of be rewarded as things unfold and as you discover secrets. And there's a host of them in this story, from factors of little wooden horses versus unicorns in the original. And if you've seen the original, you know what I'm talking about. There is also some great fight scenes. The art direction, as I've already mentioned, is amazing, and it makes you think, again, just like the original did, about what is life and what is free will and how much can we really control, and if given the option, what would you do if you found out that your rights were being restricted. I also think it's really neat that they kind of continue the story of Atari being a prominent figure in society, even though at the time Atari was kind of going on the way out. So in this universe, Atari's still like a mega giant, and things like Apple don't exist. Another thing that's really interesting about this movie is that Ryan Gosling's character is in love with a hologram, and his relationship with her is like severely complicated because she, they can't interact in real life. So there's sort of like this throwback moment to, and I don't know if it's intentional or not, but to the movie Her, where Scarlett Johansson's character gets like a surrogate lover for Joaquin Phoenix. So similar thing happens in this movie, which is kind of neat, and the outcome is, of course, very interesting. There's also this really crazy fight between Sylvia Hoek's character Love and Ryan Gosling, and it sort of beautifully captures and helps close off the story arc for Kay at the end of the movie. So this is very much a standalone movie. It is not a continuation. It is not, it is a continuation of the story, but not in the sense that it's like, hey, let's make another franchise for Blade Runner. Like, this is very much just like a sequel, self-contained film, and that's as far as it goes. If there's other movies that you're interested in that come out recently and you've liked Blade Runner 2049, I can also recommend trying out Another Earth. You can also check out Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise. I'd also highly recommend Midnight Special or Interstellar. And if you're into it, you could also see Ex Machina, which I did a review on recently. For inspiration, of course, I think older films like Brazil or Westworld or the original Blade Runner would be excellent choices for films to watch in preparation for this, or even just to see where Villeneuve got a lot of his ideas from. Interestingly enough, this is not the direct sequel to Blade Runner. There's actually a series of short films that precede it that came out last year, the year prior, that help kind of fill the gap between the two films. So there's Blade Runner Blackout 2022, Blade Runner 2036 Nexus Dawn, and Blade Runner 2048 Nowhere to Run. Really interesting. So check those out if you want to see more Blade Runner universe. Okay, a couple final thoughts. I also want to point out that Jared Leto does an excellent job playing Neander Wallace, sort of the new major CEO figure, corporate figure of this story. Neander is a blind character, and Jared Leto actually wore opaque contacts to physically be blind during his scenes. Kind of a neat factor. Also, wood is extremely rare at this point in the storage universe. So as you can see, Neander Wallace's house is entirely made of wood, just to sort of signify how rich he is. And additionally, David Bowie was originally supposed to play the role of Neander Wallace, but he passed away before filming took place, so unfortunately he couldn't take that role. So I still think Jared Leto did an excellent job. I also want to point out that... what did I want to point out? I also want to point out that both producer Ridley Scott and director Denis Villeneuve said that they thought this movie ran about 30 minutes too long, and they were worried that it wasn't going to be accepted by the general public, but they decided to go ahead with it anyway. There's this quote that Villeneuve said is he thought it was the most expensive art house movie in the history of cinema, but I think that sort of shows that directors who take risks and who actually care about their stories can make excellent films. So it's a credit to them. So it's an excellent movie. So please check it out. You'll be, if you love film and you want to see a movie that represents film, please check this movie out. It'll do it. You'll feel really good about yourself after watching it. So anyway, I've talked about this at length. I think I've made my point. That said, please like and share the video if you enjoyed the review. Leave comments about the film, leave comments about my review of it if you agree or disagree with what I said. And of course, share the video and subscribe to the channel by hitting that notification bell to get regular updates, because I release regular videos every week, 4 to 5 videos a week. That said, this has been Watch Culture. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, we're talking about Blade Runner 2049, one of my favorite movies from 2017. It's a really good movie, and it's really long, like 2 hours and 46 minutes. But it's exciting. It's exciting to talk about because